Caddis Maximus here, this time with a review of the Olsa Tools half-inch drive split beam torque wrench. This thing with a discount code CM10, or just buying anything off their website when you first register, you also get 10% off. This is normally 140 bucks. It's actually 126 with the discount code. And I really wanted to thank Olsa Tools for sending this over as a test and evaluation unit to me. They'd also sent these 6-point by 4-point ratcheting box wrenches, and I should say I really want to say thank you to my subscribers and my viewers too. Without their support, I never would have initially received an offer for these tools, and without your views and likes on the video on this, I'm sure they wouldn't have offered me an additional review product. So thank you, viewers and subscribers. So this is like the CDI. It has a pretty decent blow molded case. I do like that it has 2 latches instead of 1. Olsa Tools is hailing out of Hebron, Kentucky. They don't have a manufacturing facility. It's just somebody who wanted to start a tool company, didn't have enough money to, or access to resources to actually start a foundry and everything that's required to physically manufacture hand tools. So they started in 2015 with socket organizers and just tried to find self or reasonably priced, good quality products. Kind of like I use Gear Wrench as an example. Besides criticisms of Gear Wrench, generally what Gear Wrench has tried to do has been reasonably priced tools for good quality. You're getting what you're paying for, and I think even the normal price on this Olsa Tools at 140 bucks is really not too bad for a flex head half-inch drive split beam torque wrench. So obviously this is different from a micrometer type because you don't adjust the handle. You have a little flip lever and a knob to adjust, as well as this obviously being flex head. We have 5 degrees of flex. It mechanically prevents the head from moving any farther than that, and it gives you just a little bit of extra reach or access while making a minimal difference to the actual torque readings. Laser etched brand, but it is a roll stamped serial number on that. And if we take a look at our little manual, it does have a little manual, and apparently Tony is who did the calibration. And so if we take a look at the calibration here on this unit, we can see it did pretty good in the 50 foot-pound range, a little bit low in the mid-range, and maybe a little bit high in the high range. So it's plus or minus 4% on these split beam torque wrenches. But that slight, first, it's very minimal when you're torquing bolts to have a 4% deviation versus maybe a 2 or 3% on a micrometer type. With CDI or anybody else, that's always been the case because the mechanism operates differently in one of these torque wrenches. Split beam torque wrenches, the real deal with them is for the sacrifice of only being able to torque in a clockwise direction. That's why there is no reversing mechanism on the head, is because it can't do backwards like a micrometer. You gain quite a few other advantages. One of them, and why I'm recommending the Olsa Tools, is because Olsa Tools is willing to offer a lifetime warranty, product defect warranty on this torque wrench, which is pretty unheard of. That is unprecedented in the tool field. To sell a measuring instrument like this that has calibration, these things are glued in here, and they're willing to say that it's not an unlimited, no questions asked warranty, but if the ratchet head fails, it stops clicking, you're not able to adjust it anymore, or any of the internals have issues, they're going to warranty it for you. Yeah, you may have to deal with mailing it into them, but it's a lot better than pretty much any other torque wrench where after either 90 days or a year, that's it. You have a mechanical problem where the torque wrench doesn't work, you're pretty much out of luck. So I really wanted to give a shout out to Olsa for doing that, for actually, and clearly right on the product page for this wrench, they are advertising lifetime defect warranty. So that is pretty cool. Maybe not quite as nice a build quality as CDI, but for the warranty, it's actually really good quality. They have a nice boot up here to help prevent debris from getting down into the handle. Rubber overmold, which is pretty plastic, and then integrated rubber handle, so not too bad. Pretty easy to see graduations. One of the biggest deals about split beam torque wrenches is you don't have to crank them up and down. You don't have to worry about resetting them to 0 because you're not working against the spring, cranking it up, just trying to compress the spring tighter. Instead, what this does is that the mechanism that contains the spring is always set. The spring is always at the same tension. And this knob just adjusts some components. It's actually a lever and a catch, and as you adjust it, it just moves the lever further and further over the spring-loaded catch, meaning that it has a larger edge that it has to pop over. That's how you're adjusting the torque. But because of that, you're not working against spring tension. When you want to adjust the settings on one of these, you flip the lever open and you can just adjust it just with one finger. You are doing something low at 50 foot-pounds, you flip that open and you can just crank it right up. Super easy and fast. You can just crank it right up to the max and then go ahead and lock it back down again, and you're ready to go. You don't have to remember to turn these down. You can take this, leave it cranked all the way up to the maximum. And there is a little, they tried something new with the lever over the CDIs on these, and it's a little bit interesting. Anyway, you can crank it right up to the maximum and then let this go sit in the box for the next year. Absolutely will make no difference to the calibration. So that's really the two big deals about split beam torque wrenches. You don't have to fiddle with wrenching up and down. You can adjust them very quickly and easily. And the fact that you don't have to reset them to the low setting when you put them away. You just put them away wet, as they say. So just like a CDI here, it uses a flip lever. On CDIs, it's a stamped piece of sheet metal. And this little black thing that actually acts as like the spring that the lever that kind of the lever pivots off of is also a clutch. Easy to turn. As soon as I get that clutch pulled out, this knob locks up. That's exactly how a CDI works. So one thing I was noticing as I was looking at this lever here, and you can see that it kind of looks like a molded piece of chrome-plated plastic. I was like, just because it's just super sharp, super shiny, I was like, what on earth is that? You know, why would they have not just done, you know, stamped sheet metal is actually pretty, it's one of the cheapest things that you could do. So I went and grabbed a magnet here and I was like, oh, it's sintered, chrome-plated sintered steel. Chrome-plated sintered steel, why would they have done that? That's actually more expensive than just stamping a piece of steel. What they've done here is they've did that so they can integrate these fine detailed splines that interact with the knob. So if the clutch mechanism ever gives you trouble, those splines will still act as a redundant extra locking mechanism for the knob, and I thought that was pretty innovative. So adjusting it sometimes a little, they don't quite line up, and so you kind of have to let it smack down so that it will actually engage the knob there. And also partially because this is new, but I thought that was actually really interesting what they did there. So overall, good product, roll stamp serial number, so that's nice and proper. It can be recalibrated if necessary, because it will be this exact same procedure as a CDI. And even though this is about the same price, they have them beat. Really surprised about that lifetime warranty. Let's see how it clicks, and I'll even do a little torque test to see how it measures up. And if I didn't mention, you know, it's a decent 2-class case here. It does include a certification certificate. Apparently Tony inspected mine. And for anybody wondering, no, I did not actually get a special unit sent directly from Olsa. This is a drop ship item. So what I've received here is a randomized product, the very same that you would receive. Now I don't know if it mentioned, it is only a 36 tooth ratchet mechanism, which is just fine, but it saves them just a little bit. Let's hear it's clicking. Split beams have a little bit of a different click sound than their micrometer adjustable counterparts. Let's go and do a couple torque tests just to make sure. And I know this is Pittsburgh. It's the only one of these digital torque meters that I have, and also does have a digital torque wrench, but I did want to review this just because the split beams are just the most, as far as being dropped and the most physically and long-term reliable torque wrenches, split beams are going to be that. So we have the head straight now, and we have it set at 50 foot-pounds. My little meter only goes to 150, so I'm not going to be able to do maximum, but I just want to see how close it really is. That's pretty good, right? When it clicks, the deal with any type of click type torque wrenches is the hardest thing to really do is to get it to click, but without putting any extra force on there. Because it's really easy to actually over torque, because it'll click and then you'll put just a little bit too much force. Bringing it up, 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 up. Really pretty consistent, to tell you the truth. And what's nice about these is you can just be right on the fastener. We can go ahead and crank it up to 100 foot-pounds here and adjust it just like that, right on the fastener. So easy to do with these. And we'll bring this up to 100 foot-pounds. Wow, we actually got exactly 100, all the decimals there. I'm satisfied with that accuracy. Let's go and you can see I have it flexed all the way down. So let's just go and see what it does like this. See how much of a difference. So as we have it flexed, we can see that it's going to read just a little bit lower. And if we just straighten it out, it reads a little bit higher. So that's what ends up happening, is it reads just a little bit lower when the head is actually in the flex position. So anyway, that's my video about my review of this Olsa Tools, a split beam torque wrench. Really appreciate them sending it over. Appreciate all my subscribers viewing it, and to tell you the truth, I'm pretty satisfied. I mean, independent of them sending me anything or even having a YouTube channel, searching around online and finding a decent split beam torque wrench, 40 to 250 foot-pounds, that has a lifetime product, a lifetime warranty for 140 bucks or 126 with the discount code, really is a competitive product. And for me, being a US based organization and actually trying to start a tool company in 2015 isn't easy, so it makes them me appreciate them even more. And I certainly hope Olsa Tools is here for the very long term, because definitely want to see them succeed, because they are making price competitive products with good warranties, and they feel confident about the manufacturer and overall quality of this, that they're going to offer that. So it's just amazing, just totally unheard of for torque wrenches. And also does have micrometer torque wrenches, and they have digital torque wrenches. I wasn't going to push my luck with them, asking for them to send me the expensive digital one. Maybe if they want to send me future products, I will. But in the meantime, I used to have a CDI flex head, and I ended up having to sell it. So I'm really happy to have one of these flex head torque wrenches. That 5 degrees can make an amazing difference in a wide variety of situations. And just knowing that it's going to read just a little bit low, you can even adjust it by just bumping it to the high side of the one of the tick marks on the dial if you really want to be straight on. And if you're real careful torquing with it, surprisingly enough, it's actually more accurate. At least to that Pittsburgh gauge, this was achieving better accuracy than the certification sticker that came with it said. So maybe the certification guy isn't exactly operating the torque wrenches in an optimal fashion. Super easy to just not quite get it right. Although my Pittsburgh unit may not be perfectly accurate in and of itself, it is pretty good. So I was really surprised about that and the consistency. And I think pretty much anybody would be satisfied with this torque wrench, especially with the confidence of a lifetime warranty. Like if it just isn't any worries. It isn't like, oh, I got to make sure it has no problems because the warranty's coming up, or any of the other kind of stuff. You just have the peace of mind that it's just like any other hand tool, and split beam torque wrenches are like that they're going to warranty it. So awesome. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and who's been subscribing to the Catus Maximus channel. I really appreciate your support. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.